What if an ancient lake that had sustained people for centuries suddenly stopped giving water, and then the unthinkable happened, the entire lake simply vanished? Stay with me, because the truth buried beneath this disappearance will shake everything you thought you knew. This is Whisper from History, where forgotten voices rise again. A quiet valley once cradled a lake that had existed longer than any settlement around it. Villagers believed the water was older than memory itself, a shimmering sheet that reflected both sky and sorrow. On cold mornings, a thin veil of mist curled over its surface, as if the lake breathed with the earth. For generations it fed the fields, gave life to the orchards, and held the stories of those who lived along its shores. Then, without warning, the water began to fall. At first the change was so small that only fishermen noticed their boats scraping the lake bed, where water once lay deep. Days later, the shoreline shrank like a retreating ghost, exposing cracked mud and ancient roots. The elders whispered that something beneath the surface had awakened. But was this merely fear, or something far more real? Officials arrived with notebooks and instruments, trying to understand the silent collapse. They measured depths that no longer existed and marked places where water used to stand tall. Every sunrise revealed more of the dry basin, a landscape carved by centuries now laid bare. Children who once played at the edge stared at the widening scar with uneasy wonder, and beneath that unease grew a question no one wanted to voice. Some said the lake had drained into hidden channels, swallowed by the earth. Others blamed distant construction, blasting through mountains and shaking underground passages. Farmers spoke of hearing deep rumbling at night, as if the valley itself was shifting. A shepherd recalled seeing the water swirl in a slow, unnatural spiral the night before the great drop. But what force could pull an entire lake into darkness? When geologists descended into the exposed basin, they found fissures twisting like veins across the ground. The cracks were fresh, clean, and broad enough to swallow a grown man. They followed the largest fissure downward, where the earth opened into a funnel of stone. The walls were smooth, as if water had been dragged violently into the cavern. Some of the team refused to descend farther, claiming the air felt wrong. Yet the investigation had only begun, and the truth waited below. As they traced the cavern, they discovered evidence of a vast underground chamber. It stretched beyond the range of their lamps, a hollow world beneath the valley floor. Traces of ancient water lines marked the stone, suggesting the chamber had once held its own subterranean lake. If the roof had weakened over time, the lake above might have drained straight into the abyss. But the age of the chamber raised another mystery. How long had the valley been living above a hollow giant? Meanwhile, the villagers faced disaster. Fields cracked from drought, livestock searched for water that no longer flowed, and wells drew only dust. Families gathered at night, sharing stories of the lake, as if speaking might bring it back. Some refused to leave their ancestral homes, even as the land became harsher. A mother told her children that lakes, like people, sometimes vanished under the weight of secrets. Her words lingered in the heavy air. Reports from nearby regions deepened the mystery. Travelers claimed to see faint tremors rolling through the valley days before the collapse. Others swore they heard a hollow thunder rising from beneath the hills. A retired miner insisted he smelled sulfur drifting across the fields. Was it a sign of volcanic stirrings, or the breath of the underground chamber awakening? Scientists returned with new instruments, hoping to determine whether the cavern was expanding. What they found unsettled even the skeptics. Deep sensors recorded subtle movements, a slow widening of the void below. It seemed the collapse of the lake was not a single event, but the beginning of a larger shift. If the subterranean chamber continued to grow, the valley might be on the brink of transformation. But how much time remained? The world watched as the dry basin settled into its new silence. No storms filled it. No springs returned. The once vibrant lake bed, now resembled the floor of an ancient amphitheater waiting for an audience that would never come. And yet, even in its emptiness, the land pulsed with unanswered questions. In the end, investigators agreed on one undeniable truth. The lake had not simply evaporated, nor had it been diverted by human hands. It had fallen into a hidden world beneath the valley, a world shaped by centuries of geological strain. The collapse was both a natural phenomenon and a reminder that the earth still held secrets far older than any village. The people rebuilt their lives around the emptiness, learning to live with the vast hollow where water once shimmered. Some visited the basin at dusk, listening for echoes rising from below. Others avoided it entirely, recalling the night when the lake disappeared without a sound. And though years passed, the valley never forgot the day the water vanished, leaving a mystery etched into the land forever. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to explore our playlist, where more unsolved and dark mysteries are waiting for you.